Hello, everybody. My name is Ray. Welcome to the Evangelical Dark Web. Today, we're going to be continuing our coverage of the PCA General Assembly, that is the Presbyterian Church in America, their General Assembly, which happens to be a week after the Southern Baptist Convention, the annual Southern Baptist Convention. So it's very interesting to compare and contrast the two meetings. At the Southern Baptist Convention, we had a just liberal domination. Although the liberals really became more sort of pragmatists. But again, I'll do something on that later because the PCA is the main show at the moment and is deserving of our attention. So, with that said, the latest update is that the Presbyterian Church in America voted to withdraw from the National Association of Evangelicals. And this was a vote, and I'll just use my own article so I don't get tied up on the numbers, of 1059 to 681. That was the final vote on withdrawing from the NAE, and that's about a 60% margin voting in favor of withdrawing. So this is a pretty interesting dynamic that we have between the NAE and the PCA. So the PCA not only contributes funds, I somewhere around like $50,000 a year is what I'm saying, or as low as $20,000 a year. So the PCA is giving money to the NAE. The PCA also contributes the president of the National Association of Evangelicals. Walter Kim is a member of the PCA. And that's pretty interesting because, they're not the largest influencer in the NAE, but they are quite influential, perhaps outsizing their own proportion. With that said, Walter Kim, extremely liberal dude. We're talking about he's pretty woke on the critical race theory stuff. He was pushing churches to be COVID jab sites. And, NAE, very big on open borders, George Soros type immigration policy, and probably also big on climate change as well, just looking at the material. So this is a very liberal organization by any stretch. Justin Giboney is all over their website. And, that brings connections to the AND campaign. Very liberal organization, the AND campaign is. So the National Association of Evangelicals is a very liberal organization. The PCA has had two prior attempts in the last 10 years to withdraw from the NAE, both of which failed. Now it succeeded in 2022. So I think this is a pretty remarkable stand. It's pretty remarkable in my opinion. It's a major conservative victory and a rebuke of a liberal organization. And I can certainly appreciate that as an evangelical. So with that said, pretty good story. Good day for the PCA, minus the fact that they had, again, I'm not a fan of organizations touting Rachel Den-Hollander as an abuse advocate. I don't view her that way. I view her more as a grifter, in my opinion. So I don't really like the fact that they were promoting her and allowing her to peddle her crap. But otherwise, the PCA has been pretty solid thus far, at least with their General Assembly's activities. That being said, we do have an update on Overture 42, and I wanted to provide more context on that because I wasn't very clear on the context, but I also didn't I kind of speculated what it could be, but now I've kind of come under the understanding thanks to some feedback that I've received, some comments that I've received, some tips that I've received of what the actual context was for Overture 42. And I think this is a pretty interesting story because what's been going on in the PCA for almost 10 years now, since 2013 is the earliest I've found, is that there's an organization within the PCA called the National Partnership. National Partnership has been around since at the latest 2013, and they've been operating relatively secretly. They have their own private emails, they have their own private website, very private organization working within the church, presumably to influence presbyteries. So Overture 42 was completely directed at this. It was not looking at organizations like the Conservative Baptist Network, which, if anything, don't operate secretively. They do operate to affect national policy, but I guess I'll write more on that later. We'll talk more about the Conservative Baptist Network later. But either way, the national partnership operates secretly, whereas the Conservative Baptist Network operates openly. So there was a lot of language in that was very specific to the national partnership. And it's interesting that, they have an organization like this. According to, again, there's very few PCA type, I don't want to say blogs, but you know what I mean, that talk about this type of thing. And the gist of it is that this was the organization drumming up support, or I should say opposition, towards last year's Overture 23, which sought to prevent homosexuals from being ordained as teaching and ruling elders. So, with that said, the national partnership is what this I think this Overture 42, which I believe functions more as a resolution, was targeting. So that's pretty interesting, and I believe they will vote on this Thursday, which is when this video will be published. So we'll follow up on that, hopefully in the Friday's video. There should be a lot of action going on Thursday. So don't forget to like the video. Also subscribe to the Evangelical Dark Web. And if you really want to support content like this, evangelicaldarkweb.org/join. That is where you can do it for as little as $5 a month. Otherwise, let me know what you think about what I think. Have a blessed day. I will catch you on the next one.